I'm Phil Norris, and I wrote a book called New Roads to Old Places. And it's set in Montgomery in the 1960s when I was a teenage boy. And we're going into December of 1962. And it sort of reminds me of today. Wallace was a thin-skinned politician, and so is Donald Trump. And so what happens is, for 10 years, there was a football game that was, it was a game like the Senior Bowl in Mobile, but it was in Montgomery, and it was called the Blue-Gray Classic. And basically a civic group sponsored the football game, and they would pick 24 people from the North and 24 people from the South from different colleges, and they would come and they would play football. And some years the South won, and some years the North won, or the Blue won, or the Gray. That was called the Blue-Gray Classic. In 1962, Wallace is governor-elect. So one of the announcers invited him to come to the booth to be interviewed during halftime. Well, guess what? The NBC network said, "We do not want George Wallace to be interviewed." Well, he'd already been invited, and he was coming, and so when he gets to the control booth, the announcer says, "I'm sorry, Governor-elect Wallace, but the bosses in New York have said, we don't want you to be interviewed." And so he was turned away, and this embarrassed him. He told everybody he was going to be interviewed. Now, you've got to remember, he's never had a big office like this before. He'd been a circuit judge. Here he is, and he's been turned down, and he said, "Oh, it's not for me. It's for the people of Alabama that I'm embarrassed." Well, this will come back, and we will get to this later, but the football teams, because it was in Montgomery, Alabama, they had to be all white. No black players were invited, had never been invited, and NBC made the decision, we're not doing this anymore. We're not going to support segregation anymore. But what we see is George Wallace is really, really upset that he has been rejected at the halftime to national television. This is going out to the whole country, and he didn't get on. So this is an important kind of thing that's happening. Now, back to the novel. Where are we with Pip and Archie and Pecker and his friends that have been driving the ministerial student, Roy Harper Jr., crazy? He's a ministerial student. He has agreed to take on Pip Cooper, bring him into the New Roads Church as a faithful member, which his sister and his brother and his parents are all members, but they are pranksters. And they pull one prank after another till Roy is in his bed under the sheets because they've driven him crazy with these pranks. And these are the same pranksters. They're honing their skills right now. And it's funny. They're honing their skills, and at a point later on, they are going to use those skills against the segregationist in Montgomery. But what they don't know is messing with a ministerial student is a lot different than messing with segregationists and Klansmen and White Citizens Council members. Because why? They will kill you.